Hey guys, so today I wanted to share part one of my November TBR. So I've split my TBR kind of up into two parts because I'm also participating in a readathon this month and I wanted to dedicate its own kind of video for the readathon. So this will be part one and then part two will be in the next video. So here we are, it is November 2nd. I hope you all had a really great Halloween. I know I did, we had a lot of fun. But you know, kind of when it's all said and done, it's kind of, you sink into a little bit of the blues afterwards, and so I'm really kind of sad to see it go. But hopefully I have some spooky books that I can share with you that will keep all of the spooky feels going through November. So first up, I have, and sorry I've lost the dust jacket for this, but it is Baby Teeth. So I've started reading this one. I'm not very far into it, probably the first 30 pages or so. But Jordan over at Jordaline Reads is always talking about this book. So for the past couple of months, I've kind of been like, you know, I'm going to read that next, I'm going to read that next, I'm going to read that next, and I never do. So I'm finally getting into it this month. And so kind of what this revolves around is a mother and her daughter who is a real demon child. So I'm all about the spooky kid vibes, as you guys know. So I spoke about this book back when I hauled it in the summer. And essentially what it is a mother and daughter, and the mother is trying to figure out, you know, is there something actually medically wrong with her daughter, or is she just a demon child? So again, I've heard some great things about this book. So that is Baby Teeth by Zoya Stage. So I will report back to you guys and let you know how this one goes. Next up, I have The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, and I've heard a little bit about this book, but not a whole lot. So this is very much a dark academia kind of taking place in a boarding school, and from what I can tell, it has a split timeline. So you have events that are happening in 1950, at the boarding house, and everybody thinks it's haunted, and the events happening in 2014, and it also includes a murder that had happened during that time. So haunted boarding school, dark academia, a murder, I'm all for it. I actually just finished the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, and I'm just all about the boarding school mysteries right now. I absolutely loved the series and I gave it a full 5 stars. So I'll be talking a little bit more about Truly Devious in my wrap-up that I'm going to be doing of everything that I read in 2020, but it's definitely put me in the mood for more boarding school stories, so I'm excited for this one. So next up on my TBR is the Amityville Horror by Jay Anson, and of course this is based on the haunting that took place in Long Island back in the 1970s. And I've never read this book before. I've seen the original movie years ago, and the Amityville haunting is actually something that I've done a little bit of a deep dive into, so I know quite a lot about the haunting and about the murders that happened beforehand. And it's actually really surprising to me that a lot of people don't know about the murders that happened before the actual haunting. So if you're not aware of the story, basically Ronald DeFeo Jr., who was the eldest son of the family that was living at 112 Ocean Avenue, came home and basically shot his entire family. And he claimed that the devil made him do it. So that happened, and then I believe it was less than a year later, another family moved into this home, the Lutz family, and they experienced a really intense haunting that made them leave after just 28 days in their new home. So I'm excited to read this and compare it to just the general knowledge that I have of the haunting. But if you're looking for something that is actually really good, there's a documentary out. It's called The Real Amityville Horror, and it came out on Discovery, I believe, back in like 2005. But if you search it, I think on iTunes, or you can find it here on YouTube, that is a really great documentary. So excited to get into this one and just compare notes on what I know of the actual haunting and see how it kind of translates. So next up is Help for the Haunted by John Serlis. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. So this is actually quite a short book, but the font is fairly small, so we'll see how long it takes to get through. But essentially this is following Sylvie, who her parents are actually ghost hunters, and they are lured, I believe, into a church, and Sylvie is outside in the car and she hears shots fired and her parents are murdered. So you have the ghost hunting element and then a murder mystery alongside of it. So again, with these murder mysteries, I'm just all about them right now. So we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully it lives up to the hype that I've heard. Next up on my TBR is A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. So I received this, it's actually a signed copy. I received this in my Abominable book box for September, and I've heard some good things about it. I've watched a couple of reviews here on YouTube, and I believe there was one that was a 3.5 star and there was one that was a 4 star. So I'm excited to see if this one lives up to the hype as well. But here basically you have a situation with a haunted house, but the family that lives in the haunted house and deals with these monsters and demons essentially is also building a haunted house attraction because they're really in financial hardship and they have to start making some money. So you have the haunted house attraction that's going on, and then I believe in their actual home there's also sort of like monsters and demons and everything going on as well. And the last little bit of the synopsis on the back was what really intrigued me. So basically the son, Noah, is not one of the first of the Turners to meet their monster, but he is the first to let them into their home. So again, excited for A Cosmology of Monsters. I've been looking forward to reading this one ever since I got it in my book box. So that one will be here in November as well. And then last up, I have the first 4 books in the Creepover series. So these are written by PJ Knight, and I believe there's quite a few books in this series. So I bought these ones secondhand. I wanted to give them a try and just see kind of how scary they are and if they kind of relate well to what I know normally of children's spooky books like Goosebumps or Fear Street or any of those kinds. So these, of course, are very, very short. They're just over 100 pages and the font is quite large. So I'm planning on polishing these off kind of just at night when I'm sitting in my bubble bath, and just to get some spooky creativity going on. I find that children's books and middle grade books are the ones that are kind of the most creative. They have the most creativity. It's not like these overdone tropes, and they seem to just really draw me in for some reason. So I have the first 4 books in the Creepover series. So that is everything I have for my November TBR so far. So part 2 I will do in a separate video. So let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them. But until next time, stay spooky guys. Bye!